So we're about to listen for the first time. Kenneth has had a wee sneak preview, and so is my mum and one or two other people, of Kenneth's amazing project, A Song Among the Stones, with my music in the background. A true collaboration from two humans that love Iona, that are obsessed with these monks from 1,500 years ago. Well, maybe 1,300 years ago. Came from Ireland over to Scotland and then ventured maybe as far as North America. Today we're going to talk about four monks from Iona. Kenneth, can you introduce what people are going to hear so that they
Mm,
can settle in more deeply?
absolutely. Um, just to give a wee bit more of the background to it, because otherwise it would sound beautiful, as it will do, but there might be lack of understanding. So it really starts with this whole idea, the Celtic Christian understanding of martyrdom. And in short, when first they brought the story of Jesus to Ireland, those who came with the gospel expected to be thrown over cliffs or flung into the sea. And probably to their great surprise, neither of those things happened. By and large, folk were content with the new faith. There were a few instances of martyrdoms, but only a handful. This puzzled the Celtic Christians. What was to happen to martyrdom? There were no lions and no deserts. So, how was this concept to be understood now? Well, they reinterpreted martyrdom. Firstly, the sea became their desert. It was vast, it was dangerous, and it was full of unknown creatures. Islands, too, became a part of their desert. The rockier and the more inhospitable, often it seemed the better. So going to a rocky islet in the desert of the sea, quite possibly for 40 days and 40 nights, I reckon, that was a kind of martyrdom. And stressed 40 days and 40 nights without food. There was always a source of water on the island. It has to be stressed just how strong the monks must have been. They had to be. And there were some of those hermit monks who were intrigued about their world. They wanted to know what lay beyond their shores. They were explorers. And we know that they went to Iceland, Faroe, most likely Greenland, and, as Simon has just said, possibly North America too. What I love is that the only thing they left behind in Iceland and in Faroe, in the caves where they stayed for however many summer months before returning to the Hebrides, were carvings of crosses. And we can date these because their carvings evolved in time. There were schools of carving. So, A Song Among the Stones is the imagined story of four men making the voyage one summer from Iona to Iceland and back again, because we know that they very often from Scotland were leaving from Iona. I deliberately wanted to tell it with incredibly few and fragile words to replicate the fragility of their lives, their numinous existence. And I'm imagining that one of them has returned and written down the bare bones of the story of their voyage and their sojourn in Iceland.
Beautiful, thank you. So you're going to hear Kenneth's poetry that then I've set into melody with a little bit of singing, a little bit of Latin in the middle and the end, and some Gaelic in the
Mm.
middle. Kenneth, I just want to say that your world that you created or that you shared with us through your poetry has become my world for the last 3 months. And it's been really beautiful to go back in time. This is not the easiest of years, 2025. And to go into the story and find the melodies in my fingers was just magical. So maybe without further ado, we'll listen to the piece. I have created a little video with some images, mostly it's waves. I didn't want to distract too much.
the water lilies purling the lochs, ruffled in the tugging of the wind. The sunlight comes wild and strong in gusts like bunches of blown daffodils. This northernness Novembered in a moment, driven slate grey in a suddenness of storm. Yet this is the place they came to find, an island thin to the divine, on the edge of the world, a beauty brittle as a bird's egg, larks spinning songs out of sheer sky, orchids blowing in hidden glens, and sometimes, just sometimes, the glory of God in the morning.
Bonum est confidere Domino, bonum sperare in Domino.
The light lay in all the fields, and the curlews wept in the blue wind. They walked in rhythm through the fields, as though hearing a song that was not there. A man kissed his son's head and led him slowly, slowly home. And the bell held in the still air, slow and long in evensong.
Bonum est confidere Domino, bonum sperare in Domino.
Up in the winds of the tower, all day, all night, pen and nib and ink, yellows and reds and blues poured into every page this gospel of love of God. Outside, the bones of winter rattle all night long, the sea struggling, rolling in its sleep, fevered as the waves break in shining on this shattered western edge. In the small hours they gathered, up under the roof of the tower, there where the book was being brought, beautiful, out of nowhere. They watched him, weary, wondering. I am going further north, he said. I do not know what I will find. Perhaps I will not come back. All I know is that I must seek this somewhere with all my soul. A day out of clean silk, washed like a child that's lived for days in fever, the light pure and perfect, and nothing troubled left in all the world. A day to love a neighbour, to see in the young field's promise God rippling and strong, unquestionable. 4 men gathered from the island, went down to the shore, ready for the vessel, eyes full and wide, and the moon rose over the rim of the earth and fell like fish upon the sea. Their moon rode north. Islands of sea, floors of sea, valleys of sea, hills of sea, lifts of sea, slopes of sea, peaks of sea, rafts of sea, hollows of sea, steeps of sea, descents of sea, edges of sea, channels of sea, pieces of sea, searches of sea, darkenings of sea, flickerings of sea, glimpses of sea, layers of sea, shapes of sea, shapes of sea, shapes of sea.
Ci vamo believe, ci manam, ci vamo rie, ci vamo rie.